Qatar pours hundreds of millions of dollars into this country, billions indeed, and tries to change policy in this country. And nobody's trying to overthrow Qatar. Nobody's trying to overthrow the emir or his family. And they've been poisoning American universities, American institutions, buying up American politicians. They pour billions into this country.
I think I just sent you something about that this morning.
Yes, I mean, well, okay, but that is a little bit different than overthrowing our neighbor government and trying to install a hostile government toward us.
You're saying that we'd lose our mind if anyone tried to interfere here. There are lots of people.
But I wasn't saying if anyone.
And the most obvious one is Qatar, which has pours money into DC and into elite institutions and universities in this country.
Often wondered how an established author of multiple books and notable lecturer Douglas Murray can be so impeccably forgetful of the horrors visited by the people of Gaza while besmirching Hamas and those who protest the unimaginative harsh conditions visited by the Palestinians on behalf of the Israeli military under orders of its Likud-led party, Benjamin Netanyahu. Although the obvious answer would be that Murray is a racist neoconservative who has a history of degrading the Wahhabi branch of Islam as if it's the genesis of all Muslims. This can't be just plain ignorance on his part. Or is it quite deliberate to paint a picture of Muslims in general on behalf of the Israeli Zionists, the Kahanists, and the Christian evangelicals who endorsed the fracturing of the Muslim states, most notably the Shia leaderships that are considered a direct threat to Israel and the United States?
اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق
من قتل نفسا بغير نفس أو فساد في الأرض فكأنما قتل الناس جميعا ومن أحياها فكأنما أحيا الناس جميعا صدق الله العظيم.
هذا هو القرآن. هذا هو كلام الله. هذا هو الإسلام.
But according to Douglas Murray's position in the debate with Libertarian podcaster Dave Smith on the Joe Rogan Experience just 2 days ago, it's Qatari's emir, Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, under the Supreme Education Council, who are spending millions on our Congress and not the demonstrably obvious, the American Public Affairs Committee and J Street and the Zionist Organization of America, representing the Likud and religious Zionist Israeli government, led by the king of darkness himself, Benjamin Netanyahu, who is also wanted by The Hague for crimes against humanity and war crimes, and his blood-soaked minions like Ben Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich and the ghouls at the Otzma Yehud Party, who believe that their God is owed land promised by the one-time one-off with Moses, and that after thousands of years, it's time to collect by any means necessary. No. According to Murray, it's Al Thani and the Qatari government standing before Congress pleading with our prostitutes who wear blue and red dress to continue the slaughter of the indigenous peoples and to think about the journey with the U.S. military in engaging with Iran.
We meet today at a crossroads of history. Our world is in upheaval. In the Middle East, Iran's axis of terror confronts America, Israel, and our Arab friends. This is not a clash of civilizations. It's a clash between barbarism and civilization. It's a clash between those who glorify death and those who sanctify life. For the forces of civilization to triumph, America and Israel must stand together. Because when we stand together, something very simple happens. We win, they lose. I thank President Biden for his heartfelt support for Israel after the savage attack on October 7th. He rightly called Hamas sheer evil. He dispatched 2 aircraft carriers to the Middle East to deter a wider war. And he came to Israel to stand with us during our darkest hour, a visit that will never be forgotten. President Biden and I have known each other for over 40 years. I want to thank him for half a century of friendship to Israel and for being, as he says, a proud Zionist. Actually, he says a proud Irish-American Zionist.
It's Qatar, according to Murray, who's actively working in our nation's government to undermine our free speech laws, like CPAC affiliate and current governor of North Dakota, Christian Naum, who's trying to accomplish on behalf of the Israeli government by signing into law HB-1076, which was also supported by the Israeli for Action, American Israel Council, and the National Jewish Advocacy Center to self-define what the word anti-Semitism means. But what Naum and these whores for AIPAC dollars are doing is silencing the national voice of Israeli military aggression and mass murder of the Palestinians as being anti-Jewish. It's a dangerous precedent. It's also a glimpse of what they want for our future. Just a couple of days ago, Gray Zone highlighted a report based on audio recordings of AIPAC leaders boasting of special access to top Trump national security officials. Here's the audio.
Lobby the executive, but as we were talking about, there was a discussion earlier about Congress being representative to the people. Well, the White House has to be responsive to Congress, and so it's working with, at the time, our friends on the Democratic side of the aisle to apply pressure the way that they know how to an administration, as it will be with this administration. Bob was talking about the people who will get appointed into some of these jobs. Look, at the top level, you talk about Marco Rubio and Elise Stefanik, and Michael Waltz. Those 3 people have something in common. They all serve in Congress. They all have relationships with key AIPAC leaders from their communities. So the lines of communication are good. Should there be something questionable or curious that we need access on the conversation to? You never know. One of the first candidates I ever met with as an AIPAC professional when my job was to meet candidates for Congress was a guy named John Ratcliffe. He was challenging a longtime incumbent member of Congress in Dallas. This guy looks like he could win the race. And we go talk to him. He had a good understanding of the issues. And a couple of weeks ago, he took the oath as the CIA director, for crying out loud. This is a guy that we had a chance to speak to. So there are I won't call them lifelines, but there are lifelines.
As a kid, I'd say, when I was a young senator, I'd say, if I were a Jew, I'd be a Zionist. I am a Zionist. You don't have to be a Jew.
Meanwhile, the Israeli military, on orders of Benjamin Netanyahu, have killed approximately 50,000 people, mostly civilians, and forcibly displaced 1.3 million from Gaza, where relocation centers in Egypt on the border of Rafah were being bombed, as well as north near Jordan and Lebanon. Murray spent 19 weeks in Israel. Made sure Dave Smith knew about it in advance because, according to Murray, you can't speak on the matter because Smith never visited the country, even though a blind man like the famed musician, the late Stevie Wonder, could see clearly what the fuck is happening in Gaza because it's rather open-ended murder with hundreds of encounters and civil rights organizations harshly condemning the Israeli government for its actions, which have now led to the open arrest warrants for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant by the International Criminal Courts. The future will look rather bleak if we allow for religious extremists in the diaspora in Israel and the United States to start calling the shots because they all believe in martyrdom in the hopes of pleasing a God that is, in their view, a self-admitted jealous rager who has a commitment to death and destruction. George Orwell once predicted a future where loyalty to a party can lead to disastrous consequences.
Except loyalty to the party. But always there will be the intoxication of power. Always, at every moment, there will be the thrill of victory, the sensation of trampling on an enemy who is helpless. If you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever.